Yes, yes, we have been here for quite some time in your conversation, listening to you and also pushing our recommendations onto your thoughts. So most of it was us trying to get your attention.
Thank you so much. You definitely have our attention. Um, do you, what exactly were you trying to get our attention on?
The most important concepts to be able to cover in the book, with trying not to assume anything from your perspective of what old Earth is going to look like and the experiences. For example, the functionality of their internet and their connections and the power. You know, some information that's come through in sessions. So you're trying to ponder time frames. You're trying to ponder accessibility to content. You're trying to ponder everything from that position to then be able to ask what would be the most appropriate questions I would want to know. So you cannot place yourself in another person's shoes, in another person's situations until you have covered all the basis of all the basic facts and actual. You need to put yourself firmly in that scenario for you to then ponder the appropriate questions.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Um, I'm going to go ahead and lead off with, I think, the first question after the disappearance would be, where did they go? So could you describe what you would recommend on saying in that moment, or what should be said in that moment for them?
Mm, indeed. When they experience and notice people suddenly disappearing off the planet, suddenly collapsing in what looks like a death. When people are experiencing that and they're looking around and wondering what is going on, they will go into extreme panic because they will think they are vulnerable to whatever has just happened to those others. And it will be very high alert experiences as they are in deep fear of suddenly just perishing themselves. So when they realize that they are still present and they are still living while they explore many others who have not survived, we would like them to know at that point that the majority of the people who have used this as a, we don't want to say exit point because that is reserved for those who have decided to depart from that life as they know it and to go back to source. So going back to source is returning to God, shall we say, for those religious folk. And so of course, you don't go directly to God, you go to healing places and to have different experiences of reflection of one life's contract and life lessons. You heal and you learn and you unfold your life from a greater vantage point, being a higher dimensional being. Your life is so exhausting. There's so much that you pack into it. And so you need to have time to be able to be not quite human and not quite return to source, to be part of source once again, but to be something other. And so it's not quite like being a ghost, but it is something other. And so you're just in a reflective space, shall we say, a reflective dimension where you are having time out for yourself to have deep healing and reflectiveness. From there, people can go to source. Some people can go to a reincarnation into a different life. It's all your free will and your extensions of self. we have said before, you are multidimensional beings. And so this is not just your personal one decision. You have your spiritual team that help and guide, who know what is the most appropriate for you. Of course, nothing's really forced upon you. They will give you their perspective from different dimensions, and you'll get to listen to all of them, and then it will be very clear what is the most appropriate for you next. So going back to source means that you're fully returning back all of your consciousness and all of your experiences that you have gained in that lifetime, and potentially all the other lifetimes you've ever lived, to be able to be back as a one unit of profound consciousness that is aware of all and is very balanced indeed. And it is the feeling of profound unconditional love of everything, the most balanced neutrality of emotions. It is everything and nothing. It is all compassing. It is undefinable in words, because words are so limited, because there is not any emotion that we can convey to give you the all expansive experience of being back as a source. And so that is one option that people can take when they shift off the planet in this event that this planet is going to be having. So they could go to source, or they could go to their home planets, because they were merely here to lend their energies to help humanity raise its vibration enough for those to shift into the fifth dimension. That was always part of the plan, to be able to help humanity evolve out of the third dimension into the fifth dimension. It is a gigantic leap in evolution, and it was going to take place not from one lifetime ending in 3D to then be reincarnated into the fifth. It was a jump in this situation, an experience to physically evolve. We have used the analogy of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. We have used many analogies of change to highlight the shifting and expansion of the ascension into transcending into a higher dimension, being the fifth dimension. Why, you may ask, is that significant? And we want to say the cycles of life is always about expanding into higher dimensions, higher consciousnesses, to be able to expand and explore. The majority of people who are shifting on this day of event, which would be perceived by each individual person as the same day, but that is merely an illusion of your perspective, because people have been shifting for quite some time now, as everyone's starting to take their roles on their path and journey to help humanity with this transition. And so this humanity is shifting those who have chosen to experience the transformation of living in a 3D world, to then be able to be upgraded into a fifth dimensional planet. They will be, what we term for you now is the new earth. And so they will be moved and shifted onto the new earth, where they have the 5D bodies, the 5D mindsets, and the 5D experiences to live in the fifth dimension, which is, again, nearly impossible to describe the emotions of being there. But it is mastering all the higher vibrations, mastering all the higher emotions, and to be able to be profoundly connected to your bodies, mentally, spiritually, and to be profoundly connected to others as well. There is lots of energy work there, almost your what you would imagine to be magical is very attainable on the new earth, including elevations, telepathy. There is so much senses. It is, you do not profoundly um, get on well and have a fun time. You profoundly feel each other and explore and expand that way as a profound collective, growing from each other's journeys. So that is one opportunity. And as we had said, people can go back to their home planets as they have merely been visitors here to help with the shift. And there are also other 3D planets that people still need to live out their lives in assimilation, assuming that they have not shifted at all, that their lives are still exactly the same, for them to play out further and be pushed more further into dealing with their karmas and learning and growing from their lives that way. And so they are merely just needing some extension of time to be able to fulfill their duties and roles that they need for their inner growth. So there is many people, many beings supporting humanity at each individual level to make sure whatever happens to them is the most appropriate for their soul's growth. Uh, while you still are under the illusion that this is your one and only important life and you're focusing on it and your careers are important and whatnot, uh, pulling you out to remove your veil, to be able to let you remind yourself who you truly are and the purpose of being here on this planet. If we did that to you when you were not finished playing your game of life and to not learn all of the experiences you wanted to learn and master, we would be doing a disservice to you. So that's why we have called upon another planet to be able to take over these people who need to experience finishing off and mastering what they needed to do without noticing they have shifted themselves. So you can understand the significance and importance of them having to have their illusion of their lives continue on somewhere else. It may be for a short time or maybe a little bit longer, just while they are really noticing and learning and growing what they do need to learn and grow from as they are still dedicated to the lives and the life contracts that they have signed and freely wanting to enjoy and explore as much as they can. And we know enjoying is a judgment of an emotion, because often the importance and significance of having an experience can also be one of great hardship and challenges. They're very prominent and important, regardless of whether it is a life or an experience of joy versus a life and experience of hardship. Both are super significant and important. And what challenges you makes you grow bigger. And sometimes when you are happy, you become very complacent and there is stagnant and not much growth happening there. So you want to be on an exploration of as many different experiences and challenges along the way for you to grow and master all. So it is not just simply one place that the beings and the people who are shifting on that one day, they're not just going to New Earth. There is going to be a lot of options for them, which again have been resolved and working closely with their spiritual team. Of course, there are many soul families that want to travel together and do and be together. So it becomes complex when you're trying to please everyone and make sure that everyone's got the right experiences that they wanted to experience while they were here. Because the planet is changing, you can't just come back and redo it again in a different life. This needs to be addressed now.
Thank you so much for that. Could you tell me some more about or clarifying on the topic of reincarnation? Um, do we want to talk about past lives, or do you want us to talk about past lives in the book, or how do you want us to approach reincarnation?
It is real. It is a thing, and it has been suppressed by many religions as well as cultures, because that takes away the significance and importance of, for some people, to not focus on this lifetime as much as they should or could. So the reason why it has been taken out of everyday belief systems is because for control and manipulation. If you knew that you were just an extension upon an extension upon an extension of lifetimes after lifetimes of growth and expansion, you could probably enjoy yourself a little bit more, realizing that this isn't so serious, and you want to do the best you could, because it's a test that you're testing yourself on. So you're wanting all of these experiences, and most times the experiences you want to sign up for and experience can't possibly be fitted into one single life. And so therefore it is appropriately, as you're signing up your life contracts, you could have half a dozen lives that you need to live to be able to explore everything, because you mostly are such advanced beings. You're very confident and capable of having many different experiences. This is part of the allure and attraction to come here to Earth, to be able to experience so much. And so it is merely a routine that you not often do by yourself. You have your soul families that come in and have the fun of having amnesia. So you have no recollection of these big, powerful beings that are very advanced and respected throughout the universe, to come down here and have some human lives, to focus on such small little details and insignificant things from your normal, shall we say, day jobs. And so your higher advanced beings live much longer than what you perceive as your time here on Earth in one long lifetime. And so this is merely an expiration of, say, an extended holiday, which doesn't take too much time away from your bigger being lifestyle and experience. But when you're living these lives here on Earth, it does feel like they're very long and slow and hard. But in the reality, as we perceive and measure time, they go quite quickly. So your past lifetimes are significant because they mold and shape who you are, from traumas from past lifetimes to events. And if you haven't mastered certain things that you wanted to, you will keep putting that, you'll add to your hopes and expectations of yourself for this lifetime. So for reincarnation moving forward, as you perceive time being forward, as you're experiencing it, the lessons you learn here, especially the ones who are going to be on the old Earth, is very significant in many ways. So when you finish this play, this lifetime now, being in the body and being the being that you are now, when you have completed that, your next reincarnation will still have the significance and the insights into knowing all that you knew and learned. For those who may have also just been here to explore this experience as a holiday from their bigger life beings, you will still retain all of the lessons. Everything you learn on Earth it grows you significantly. It is all very purposeful for these lessons to grow and to help you expand and have more evolution for your bigger being. And it is, you're such a big vessel, you just add on to all of your other skill sets and perspectives and wisdom. So it is so advantageable to get as much experiences as possible. And this is a very big opportunity for you to experience such profound experiences while you are experiencing the old earth, for many reasons, not just for the relationships you form as you are on the old earth, but for your perspective of what it is like to be on an earth that has been out of balance for so long. And this will be so profound for your soul. So moving forward in your other lives, you will always have profound respect of others and for the planet and for everything, because this will really be quite a big highlight, quite a big expansion of how you respect and see others. It is going to be very profound indeed.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, what what is the significance of hope for them?
Mm. Hope is very important because it means that you still have empowerment to continue on trusting that it is all purposeful what you're experiencing. While you can experience and learn and grow from hardship, ultimately you're wanting to have hope to be able to reconnect to what is the universal law of unconditional love. Hope hope and being able to return back to source is lawful. It is always going to be the case. You cannot escape not returning to source. And so hope is reminding you that you are an extension of source. Hope is that you are not a victim. Hope is that you're not alone. Hope that you're evolving and expanding. Hope can give you nourishment. Hope can feed your soul. Hope is keeping you in a more positive state of mind. Hope can keep you moving one step forward. Hope is feeling inner peace, knowing that everything is possible. And when you are empowering yourself with hope, you are raising your vibration. You're raising your vibration because you're wanting hope, and whatever you are hoping for brings manifestation to you, brings abundance to you. There is so much when you have hope, because the opposite would be despair. And when you are in despair, it manifests more of this despairing experiences and emotions. Hope is what everyone must have always when you are in a state of neutrality, trusting that everything is purposeful, trusting that there is always balance, trusting that in the most, in quotation marks, ideal universe, there is respect and balance for all. And when you're experiencing profound challenges, when you advance and grow from that, you have more respect for the challenges and you have more compassion for everything, because you do not want others to have to experience such hard challenges. So you will be so grateful that you have advanced from those challenges, and you will live a more balanced life, knowing where you've come from and growing upon it with hope.
Oh, thank you so much. That was beautiful. What would make the choice when most people are we have destruction, we have mass amount of people leaving. Lots of people probably don't have a lot of hope in general. What makes that choice to go from no hope to hope, knowing that it's everywhere in the world that this has happened?
Absolutely. So we want to say that we want to use this analogy that we have used in the past before, which is you have gone to a dance event, and you're in one room and you have been dancing with all your joy, and sometimes not joy. You may not enjoy the music, you may not enjoy your dance partner, but you're there attending the dance nevertheless. And so therefore, time for the dance to finish, it's at night time, so it's got twinkle lights everywhere. And suddenly now, without anyone's warning, the lights turn on. And when the lights turn on, 60%, 70% of the people that were having their attendance to this dance party have disappeared and gone. And so those who are left there to be confused, and to understand and to try and figure out what has happened, and for them to come together to support each other through their experiences of the dance. I love that song. I hated that song. This is a pretty dress. I don't care about dresses. Whatever the conversations are, to support each other with trying to ascertain how did we get here, what happened while we were here, and now what can we do moving forward. And so these are great conversations and connections that the people at the dance party, with the lights fully turned on now, will have to share and converse with each other. And as long as, for however long that will take for them to have that journey to connect with, to be able to discuss, we want to say that you actually don't realize that there is another disco party, and there's endless dance parties. You merely just have to realize that you just need to leave that one room and go to any of the other rooms that you want to go to. But for while you're at the illusion that you're at that one original dance party, you had no idea that there was all these other parties and events going on. And so the hope that you can rely on is knowing that the end of one dance party is not final. There is endless amounts of dance parties. And the dance party that you will find, that you want to find, that you want to explore, could potentially be your next dance party that you are always invited to. So this isn't about people being excluded from any dance parties. You must, well, you have the opportunity. We didn't want to say you must go to all and attend all dance parties, because that is not simply the case. But when you're finished one dance party, you have freedom to be able to explore all or another. And so this is another analogy of your lives. You could choose to have many more lives after this, or you could choose to not. It is your dance party. You are the master of your experiences and what you are seeking. And so while this dance party has changed quite dramatically, with the sudden turning on the lights, and you're realizing that half of the, well, not half, because it is much more than half, of the participants of this dance party will suddenly no longer be there. This is all purposeful for you to make those connections afterwards, and to be able to profoundly have connections, to experience the shock and abandonment, and but also realizing you actually aren't alone. There's many that are there with you and along with you who are experiencing the same. So there is great connections there. We understand that it is strange that we've used an analogy as a dance party, but we wanted you to know that when you are your bigger beings And when you are in our position and perspective, in our dimensions, you would see that your lives when you are in the physical are supposed to be dance parties, which means joyful, which means moving your bodies and being carefree and not minding if it's a silly song, not minding or focusing or paying attention to the small details of fashion, of the snacks, of the venue, of the quality of the bathrooms. You are not supposed to be caring about all of those smaller things. You are supposed to be just noticing the fun you're having and the people you're meeting and the good time you're having. And we want you to view life like that.
It's a great view to have. I'm sure it'll be a great view to have, experiencing what is to come. What uh, what is the, just for a little bit more clarification, what's the significance of the experiences for those who are staying here?
Great question. The significances of being on the old earth are very important. It is about seeing the aftermath of the planet not being sustainable anymore. And while you may not be able to understand it while you're still at that dance party, when you shift and when you get your healing and your perspective, when you are returned back into your bigger being, you will be able to understand it much more from just like our perspective, that it is about experiencing things firsthand is so much more impactful and powerful. Many who will be on the old earth wanted to have an experience to be able to feel when a planet has been controlled and manipulated so much and pillaged so much and misused so much and out of balance so much. When you are when you experience the end result of all of this misuse of a planet, then you will profoundly understand the purposes and significance of why it needed to end the way it did. And most who experience the old earth will not know the purpose of why it was important for most of humanity to be shifted into a different dimension. It wasn't just because it was going to be fun to just shift and evolve these people, most without their knowledge. It was because it was necessary. This planet does not have, we want to say the planet is a living being, which we think has been explored in the book already. But the planet is a living being, and when you're living on her body, and when she decides that she wants to reincarnate, as soon as she leaves the body, it will start decaying and corroding away. And so this is why we have many beings have had to help shift the beings and the people off the planet to be able to move them to their desired destinations. So there is a time frame, a time span from the first big shift to other shifts that are smaller, to be able to help evacuate the planet, while everyone wants to experience what they want to experience and what they need to experience for their soul's growth and the journey that they have and need to experience. Experiencing the end of a planet is something that is important, because the compassion of seeing the end results, the totality of the culture and the species, it's very important. It's so heightened. It's the final chapter. It is the last scene in a book. It's the conclusion. and it's so built up, it's so concentrated with all of the experiences that that planet has had, that humanity has had, that it is so concentrated, the growth and expansion and experiences. We do not know if this is the most appropriate way to have explained this. So we would like to ask is, have we answered your question here?
I think at this point it is answered very well. Very well at this point. I'm sure we will come back and elaborate more onto this question in these lessons.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
We just wanted to add one thing, that when in future lives, shall we say, if you are in a position where you want to control beings, to control a planet, your now experience from this planet, you would go about it differently. You would go about it with compassion and consideration for others and be really respectful of the balance of that planet, which is alive. And this is important and extremely significant and should give all of humanity and the universe profound hope.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, thank you for that. Do you have any other messages for us today?
Yes, thank you. We really appreciate being able to share our perspective of this. We understand that when we converse with you and when we share our perspective, it is lacking and avoided, has a void of emotions and compassion and consideration. And while we are being very direct and our finesse and our delivery um, should not be considered as cold and uncompassionate towards the beings who are struggling to comprehend and understand the purposes of their predicament. We are profoundly compassionate, unconditional, loving beings, and we see that there is great growth and benefit from all experiences. We understand the challenges of emotions, and we want to apologize to those humans, those beings who feel like we are not sympathetic or show compassion to their situations, when we are, in fact, always wanting to support you and be there for you. We cannot tap into your emotions and feel those for you because that does not serve us, because we have advanced out of the need for emotions. But we can see yours and we can understand yours. And we're trying to give you a bigger perspective to help you understand why you are going through these. It will not remove your emotions. It may not even heal your emotions, but being able to have a clarification of what is happening may be able to give you the bigger perspective for you to have hope and for you to be able to navigate yourself forward, knowing that you and your spiritual team believe in you and know you need to experience this and master this for your spiritual evolution for yourself.
Thank you. Definitely. That is the balance. You are the higher beings. We are here for these lessons. This is the other side. We are here with the emotions to learn them and to to use them to then become higher beings ourselves to help um, help other beings.
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're out of this dance and when you are back with us, you will be able to be reminded and remember that you did, in fact, sign up for this. And we promised and agreed we would support you every step of the way. And we have never left you. And we are guiding you and encouraging you and inspiring you to help with your path and your journey and your contracts and missions. And so we understand that you get frustrated. We understand that you feel just because we are invisible to you that we don't exist. And we understand all of that. And we're still here, regardless of whether you are angry with us or pretend that we're not there. We are always there to support you. And when you are no longer on the dance floor, and you're back with us, you will realize that we have always done the best for you and honored and supported you the way that we know you need to be honored and supported.
Um, I would ask, the question I want to ask is, uh, didn't we equally come into that contract of picking you on a team for us?
Yes, we're not strangers. Your spiritual team are not strangers to you. You've had lifetimes with them. You have had soul family contracts with them and experiences. We trust you. We know you more than you know yourself, and you trust us profoundly when you're with us from our dimension and perspective. And so while some people feel that we are um, we want to say, well, some people are afraid we're perverts and watching you go to the bathroom. We're certainly not, and we're not interested in your bodily functions, but we are here when you appropriately need us. And we watch you, we protect you, we make sure that other people's free will is not encroaching on your purpose and mission. And we allow you enough to expand and explore on your own while still protecting you. And so there's a fine balance there. But you profoundly trust us. This is the reason why you have asked us to be your guides. You just can't remember that. And so this is why some people think that we are strange, that we know so much about you and we're always here to love and support you, when you do not feel our familiarity. But we're always within you. We're always there supporting you. You just have so much doubt. And many humans have such loathing of themselves. They would never possibly dream that they deserve to have so many higher advanced beings just loving them unconditionally forever and always.
Beautiful. Thank you for that clarification even more on that subject.
Mm.
Um, that is all. If we could have Joe back, I would appreciate. Thank you so much for coming in and helping us today.
Mm. And we are always happy to be of service. This is part of our commitment to help humanity at this time. We have also signed up to be part of this, to share our wisdom for the book, to be able to help, because we want our messages out to people any way possible. And we understand that not everyone knows about this technique and these sessions, and they don't trust channeling or spiritual people. And so however they will resonate with this information, whatever format they can get their hands on or their ears to listen to, we are always wanting to help the best way we can, because we understand it's so tremendously challenging for many of you to get the truth, the bigger truth, because there's just so much disinformation, even in the spiritual world, shall we say. So It is hard. And when you are stuck in fear, or when you have experienced big trauma, how do you know where to go to get the right information? And so this is important for people who are so disempowered to be able to have the opportunity to get the most empowerment through this book and through these messages. And as you know yourself, these lessons have been providing people with profound wisdom and information and perspective that their minds have not naturally gone to see things from the bigger perspective.
Yes, so unbelievably grateful for all of these lessons.
And we are incredibly grateful for you being to be so open to hear it and apply it, because there are many that can just listen but do not apply and do not know how to do their inner work, because they still are reluctant to believe that they are worthy of self-love. So we honor you, and we honor all of the people who are open to having improvement and expansion on their experiences. Sometimes growth is very painful, but it is significantly important for that. And what you gain from that growth, from that discomfort, is profound. You would never complain when you could see the profound experiences that you're learning. We envy you because you seem so brave and you're experiencing so much. We're learning from you. You're very brave, and we did not at all want to take on this call to go down into such a dense planet and to have such profound experiences. Some of us here have, and it is very, very hard. And it's not until you finish that dance floor that you realize you have been dancing marathons after marathons after marathons of emotional challenges, but it is so rewarding. It is super rewarding. It's so crucial. It's so important. And we don't want to put too much pressure on you at the same time, when we're being so frank and honest, to be able to say it is exhausting what you're doing. And you get a sense that you know it is. So we're not trying to sugarcoat it and and just make it all sound like it's just such a fun, easy dance party. You just dance the night away. We say you have to dance often to music that you do not resonate with. You have to dance with dance partners you do not resonate with. You have to dance with awkward fashion, shall we say, that you do not resonate with. We understand it is not a picnic in this dance party, but we are trying to keep giving you hope and faith, because it is important that you see things with a positive perspective to help you, because you cannot escape this. You cannot choose your exit points when it's not your chosen exit points. So we're trying to help you help yourselves with positivity.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We say this with love.